right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Fed up with the violence.
I just hope they'll be considerate to the people that is just trying to live.
Tonight, the community's cries for change as the city of St. Louis marks 51 homicides in less than 5 months.
Rivers running high and more rain in the forecast, where the focus for heavier rain and thunderstorms remains tonight.
Cherokee Street changes.
We've invested a lot in the safety and improvements this year.
The efforts to prevent a repeat of last year's chaos on Cinco de Mayo. We're following breaking news out of Columbia University in New York City. Within the last 2 hours, NYPD officers began arresting pro-Palestinian protesters who occupied a campus building.
With the front door blocked, officers had to enter through a second-story window. The police response came at the request of school administrators. Protesters violently overtook the building overnight after the university started suspending students who refused to abandon their encampments. We're told they now face trespassing and burglary charges. Tomorrow, pro-Palestinian demonstrators plan to protest on the campus of St. Louis University.
That gathering comes 4 days after police arrested 100 protesters at Washington University. St. Louis Board of Aldermen President Megan Green, an adjunct professor suspended by WashU, is criticizing the use of a police force. She's now calling on Mayor Tashara Jones to tell SLMPD to stand down tomorrow.
I think our expectation should be that tomorrow's protest at St. Louis University take the same form as Occupy SLU back in 2014, where there is not police presence and instead the university chooses to engage in productive dialogue with their students.
Governor Mike Parson is applauding the response of WashU and police.
But I think Washington did exactly what they needed to do. So my hat's off to them for taking care of the problem and making sure classes go on and people get educated. It's a great institution. Look, we're going to protect our universities in the state, period, against this kind of behavior. You know, it's not productive for anybody.
Mayor Jones's office tells 5 on Your Side her staff remains, quote, firmly supportive of the right to peaceful protest. St. Louis Police Chief Tracy told us, quote, the department is determined to protect the safety and security of all individuals expressing their First Amendment right to assemble and engage in nonviolent protest.
The tension on campus has led Washington University to make changes to this year's commencement. Tickets are now required for the ceremonies on May 13th. Only clear bags will be allowed. The university is also banning items like noisemakers, large signs, balloons, food and drink, and weapons. A warm and humid evening across the St. Louis region. A rumble of thunder could wake you up early tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking overnight isolated storms in his Weather First forecast.
You know, and we think most of that action is going to remain either well to the north or well to the southwest of St. Louis. We're pretty quiet around the metro area this evening, and that's a good thing. We're expecting it to stay quiet for at least the next 2 to 3 hours. Where is the action? It's all been along the Missouri-Iowa border up into Iowa and then back towards Kansas City and then stretching down the western side of Missouri and into southeastern Kansas. But you notice this activity as it's pushing closer towards St. Louis. It's losing a lot of its spunk this evening. We think that's going to be the trend. The severe weather threat remains well to our north and west. Here's what the futurecast looks like. As this approaches us through the overnight hours, it tends to fall apart. So while there might be a stray rumble of thunder to the north of St. Louis or farther to the southwest down towards Rolla, most of us likely will have a very quiet night with just a few clouds rolling in. Now, it's not going to stay that way for the rest of the week, that's for sure. While there's an isolated rain chance after midnight, a spot shower is possible late tomorrow because the boundary is still hanging around. And then we'll get our widespread showers back in here Thursday night. We'll track that in just a few minutes.
And you can get the latest Weather First forecast anytime on KSDK.com and the 5 on Your Side app. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send it straight to your phone.
It's a sobering statistic for the city of St. Louis. Homicide rates are slightly up compared to a year ago. And new tonight, 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend is live downtown with reaction to a disturbing trend that many just want to end. Robert.
Mike, from citizens to neighborhood watch presidents to longtime community activists, they're all tired of shootings, deadly shootings happening in St. Louis. Listen to this. The latest one happened just blocks away from City Hall and our station. It was a sunny and seemingly peaceful Tuesday afternoon in downtown St. Louis, but around 10:30 Monday night, a startled Ariana Qualls saw police officers descend on her neighborhood.
The gunshots were so loud, like it woke me up out of my sleep.
In the heart of downtown near 15th and Olive Street, police say someone shot a man in his 20s. He died at a hospital. Qualls lives here with her 2 children.
He was just laying in the grass. It's very concerning, because I be wanting to take my kids out like around the area and things like that, and sometimes I be skeptical about even just being out on the front.
The man was the 51st homicide victim in St. Louis so far this year. That number is slightly up compared to 48 last year this time.
Something had to be done.
Sharon Webb Steele, the president of Mothers Advocating Safe Streets, is fed up with the ongoing gun violence that's plaguing the city. Violence records show involves adults and teens.
Some of these juveniles need to be charged as adults. Simple as that. And if they're not charged, their parents need to be charged.
A spokesperson for Mayor Tashara Jones says the city is taking steps to reduce crime and violence. The city says juvenile shootings are down 47% and youth victims of gun violence are down 50% from last year.
We need to get tougher on these criminals, and we need to come up with stricter gun laws.
I hope it'll stop. I just hope they'll be considerate to the people that is just trying to live.
And right now, police have not made any arrests in connection with last night's shooting. They are asking anyone with any information to call St. Louis Police. Remember, you can remain anonymous and possibly even receive a reward if you call Crime Stoppers. We're live downtown. I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
We're only 4 days away from St. Louis's big Cinco de Mayo festival on Cherokee Street. The annual event bringing tens of thousands to South City.
And new this year, big changes designed to keep you safe. Brent Solomon is live at police headquarters, where officers are gearing up to have a bigger presence this year. Brent?
Yeah, I got some new information for you tonight. You might remember it was last year. 2 separate shootings surrounding Cinco de Mayo. Now, police here are partnering with event organizers to make sure it's safe. And a bigger police presence isn't the only thing you'll see.
It's one of the staples that shapes St. Louis.
We usually get on average around 30 to 40,000 people here on one day. Kind of almost the capacity of Busch Stadium comes to Cherokee Street for Cinco de Mayo. So.
A celebration of Mexican culture, bringing out people of all backgrounds for a family-friendly party here on Cherokee Street.
We also fill the street with arts and music and cultures.
It gives local businesses a boost.
We do a lot of liquor, food. It's all about liquor and food, for real.
At Sueno Latino Restaurant, Eduardo Nunez is preparing for the crowds, despite one memory that lingers.
I hope this year's kind of different,
That's when an evening shooting put a damper on the otherwise safe celebration. A big fight broke out at Cherokee in Ohio when someone started waving a gun. 2 people were hurt. The night before the festival, a shooting on Cherokee killed 2 people and injured 2 others.
So we've changed up a little bit of the footprint.
Organizers tell me new this year, a hard perimeter will go up surrounding the festival zone. You can only get in at one of 4 entrances.
So coming from the west here at Nebraska, at Jefferson, or the north and south on Iowa. Those are the entrances that'll be accepting attendees, and the rest will be closed to pedestrian traffic.
On top of that, all bags will be searched.
But we're upping our enforcement. So leave your weapons, your speakers, your liquor and your booze at home and come and join us on this fun day.
And that business owner who you just heard from tells me that him and several other business owners met recently about the changes they want to see at this year's festival. They're glad to see there's a plan in place. All of the festivities kick off Saturday at 11 a.m. It goes until 8 that night. Live in downtown St. Louis, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
The defense has rested its case in the Thomas Kenworthy murder trial. The man accused of murdering St. Louis police officer Tamaris Bohannon in 2020 waived his right to testify. He's pleaded not guilty by reason of mental health defect. Today, his ex-wife took the stand and testified about his abusive and criminal past and said he needs mental health help. The trial is expected to wrap up later this week.
Tonight, growing concerns in the Tower Grove South neighborhood following a recent vacant house fire. Neighbors say dozens of squatters have been in and out of the home in the last 2 years. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski talked with city officials about this growing vacant home problem. Laura.
And Mike, that problem is growing tonight. St. Louis firefighters are on the scene right now of 2 more vacant house fires in South City. We have a crew on the way to the same Tower Grove South neighborhood. Another fire is burning in Carondelet. Neighbors say these homes are ticking time bombs and something has to change.
Erin Leiden-Lorson and her family moved to the shortest street in St. Louis, McKean Avenue, in 2019, and they love their block. But they, like many other St. Louisans, are dealing with a vacant home they practically share a wall with.
We believe all people should have a home. However, when it's unregulated and unmaintained, that's when the problems arise.
She says over the past year, they've seen roughly 30 different people coming in and out of the house, and their worst fear came true on Sunday night, just as they were coming home from the park.
We saw smoke billowing out of the house next door, just the back window. We saw a man come out and say, "My apartment's on fire," and just head on down towards Gravaway. So I asked him if he was going to call 911. He said no, so we called the fire department. Fire department's amazing. They were here within 2 minutes.
St. Louis Fire Captain Garen Mosby says the problems with vacant homes in the city are never going to stop, but they've been working to catalog them so they have some idea of what they're getting into.
You'll often hear this building has a low, a medium, or high probability of collapse. It's the high probability of collapse that really clues you in, because you know that that survey was conducted under ideal situations. Building wasn't on fire, and it was a no-go then.
It's now even more of a safety hazard.
When these buildings are not properly maintained or kept, you have the elements, it wears away at the structural stability.
Charred walls, just everything was gone. The ceiling's caving in, everything is it's just awful.
Alderwoman Alicia Saunier says she's committed to addressing the problem, but it's going to take time.
The neighborhood improvement specialist is going to go out tomorrow morning and take a close look at the property and kind of talk about some ways that we can secure it. I went by today to take a look and have talked about some of the ways to secure it, and then we're going to tag the building division in.
Alderwoman Saunier says, unfortunately, the company that owns the home is out of state, which adds another layer of complications. She says she hopes to expedite the process of securing and boarding up the home.